On January 3, 2026, the world awoke to a stunning headline: U.S. forces in Venezuela. The news broke before the sun had even risen in most cities, catching millions off guard as they reached for their phones and saw the impossible splashed across every screen and front page. Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's embattled leader, had been captured in a daring night raid that seemed to defy all expectations and intelligence predictions. News alerts lit up phones before sunrise, disbelief spreading like wildfire as satellite images and a terse White House statement confirmed what many thought was unthinkable. The world's attention snapped to Caracas, where the impossible had just become reality. Operation Absolute Resolve had succeeded. The mission, shrouded in secrecy, was now the center of global attention, with military officials quietly celebrating a feat that would be analyzed for years to come. In newsrooms worldwide, anchors scrambled to go live. Experts speculated in real time. How did this happen? Was it the start of a war? What would Russia and China do in response? The questions came faster than the answers. Caracas, long considered a fortress city, fortified and defended by loyalist forces, had been breached without a major battle. The world's military strategists were left stunned. Venezuelan state TV went dark in the early hours. Social media exploded with shaky videos of streaks in the night sky. Muffled explosions echoing through the city, and rumors swirling faster than facts. There was no widespread chaos, no running gun battles in the streets, just surgical precision. The operation was over almost as soon as it began, leaving the city eerily quiet. The Pentagon's pre-dawn press conference confirmed what the world was already whispering. Nicolás Maduro was in U.S. custody, unharmed, and already aboard a naval vessel in international waters. The operation was described as swift, precise, and overwhelmingly successful. Officials emphasized the professionalism and restraint shown by U.S. forces. No details on methods were given, but the message was clear. This was not an invasion, but a targeted action. The world was left to fill in the blanks, fueling speculation and debate. The world was left to wonder, how did the U.S. pull off the impossible? What technology, intelligence, or alliances made this operation possible? Caracas was silent, its streets deserted in the dawn light, but the world was anything but. In cities from London to Beijing, people gathered around screens, hungry for updates. The operation's audacity stunned even seasoned analysts. Military experts, intelligence veterans, and diplomats all struggled to explain how such a fortified city could fall so quickly and quietly. The city's defenses, thought impenetrable, had been bypassed with apparent ease. The world's militaries took note, realizing that old assumptions no longer held. The U.S. claimed to have avoided civilian casualties and broader conflict, stressing that the mission was limited in scope and focused solely on Maduro's capture. The headlines were real, and the implications enormous. Every major outlet led with the story, and the world's leaders scrambled to respond. The world held its breath, waiting for the next move. Would there be retaliation? Would Venezuela descend into chaos, or would a new chapter begin? The meaning of absolute resolve was now a global question. Was it a new doctrine, a warning, or the start of a new era in international relations? The dawn brought uncertainty and a new reality. As the sun rose over Caracas, the world braced for what would come next, knowing that nothing would ever be quite the same again. Operation Absolute Resolve began months earlier, deep within the shadowy corridors of the Pentagon and the clandestine offices of Langley. It was here, behind layers of security and secrecy, that the first seeds of the mission were sown. Senior intelligence officials, military strategists, and covert operatives gathered in hushed meetings, aware that the stakes were nothing less than global stability. Venezuela's crisis had reached a catastrophic breaking point. Millions of desperate citizens were fleeing across borders, creating a humanitarian disaster. The regime, increasingly isolated, had turned to criminal syndicates and shadowy networks for survival. Intelligence intercepted chilling evidence. A sophisticated cyber attack was being planned, targeting critical U.S. infrastructure. The threat was imminent, and the consequences could be devastating. Through relentless surveillance and digital forensics, analysts traced the cyber plot to its nerve center, Maduro's own fortified command facility. This was no ordinary operation. It was a convergence of state power and criminal enterprise, shielded by layers of deception and security. The mission's objectives were clear and uncompromising: capture Nicolás Maduro to face federal charges, and secure the servers and hardware that could unleash chaos on American soil. Every piece of evidence was scrutinized, every scenario mapped out. Failure was not an option. The risk of escalation into open war or triggering a global crisis loomed over every decision. Perfection was demanded. Every contingency was war-gamed, every detail rehearsed, and every operator drilled to the edge of exhaustion. U.S. Southern Command, or SOUTHCOM, took the lead, orchestrating the operation into a series of interlocking phases. JSOC's elite operators spent months training on a meticulously constructed replica of Maduro's compound, mastering every corner and corridor. The plan was audacious: paralyze enemy defenses, strike with surgical precision, and vanish before a response could be mounted. Stealth technology, electronic warfare, and cutting-edge AI would create a fleeting but absolute bubble of U.S. control in the heart of Caracas. 72 hours before launch, the president convened with top advisors in the Situation Room. After confirming Maduro's location and the immediacy of the threat, he gave the final green light. The world would soon witness a mission unlike any before. The countdown to history had begun, and there was no turning back. The first shots of Operation Absolute Resolve were silent, fired in cyberspace. U.S. Cyber Command unleashed malware, blinding Venezuela's air defense network and crippling communications. Radar screens went dark, generals lost contact, targeted brownouts disabled security systems. State media was silenced. The regime cut off from its people and soldiers. Above, Space Force satellites jammed military frequencies and GPS, while providing real-time intelligence to U.S. commanders. The result? A zone of digital isolation, leaving the regime blind and mute. By the time confusion set in, the physical assault was already underway. This unseen battle was the mission's foundation. The enemy was paralyzed, unable to coordinate or resist. Bytes and frequencies, not bombs, had decided the opening round. The battlefield was set for the next phase. With digital defenses down, the physical assault began. 2 B-21 Raider stealth bombers entered Venezuelan airspace, deploying micro-drones to fry surviving electronics at missile sites. F-35s followed, linking data from satellites and bombers, hunting for threats and securing a corridor to Caracas. An old Venezuelan jet, flying blind, was instantly detected and dismissed as no threat. Layers of defense, cyber paralysis, electronic attack, and vigilant F-35s ensured safe passage for the assault force. Not a single shot was fired at U.S. aircraft. The entire air campaign, from cyber attack to air dominance, took less than 20 minutes. Venezuela's military was neutralized before it could react. The sky belonged to the U.S. Absolute, uncontested. The helicopters carrying the assault team had a clear path. The era of silent technological warfare had arrived. With the air corridor secure, 8 stealth Blackhawks lifted off from the USS Iwima, flying low and silent toward Caracas. Their radar-absorbent frames and muffled rotors made them nearly invisible. 4 Apache helicopters flanked them, ready to neutralize any resistance. The flight path weaved through valleys and highways, guided by real-time satellite data to avoid detection. Targeted blackouts below concealed their approach. To those awake in the city, the helicopters were just shadows, ghosts in the night. Minutes from Fuerte Tiuna, the plan was unfolding perfectly. The assault force was about to make history. The Blackhawks hovered over Maduro's compound, JSOC operators fast roped down, moving with silent precision. 4 helicopters and Apaches formed a tight security ring. The team had 10 minutes to secure the target and escape. Private security, caught off guard, was quickly overwhelmed. Suppressed weapons and breaching charges cleared the way. Resistance was brief, guards neutralized, others deterred by Apache warning fire. The operators moved straight to the master suite, ignoring distractions. Speed and focus were everything. In under 4 minutes, the compound was under U.S. control. The primary target was within reach. The most delicate phase, capture, was about to begin. Every second counted. The world was watching, even if it didn't know it yet. In the master bedroom, the operators found Maduro, disheveled, in pajamas, flanked by his wife and bodyguards. The room was thick with tension, the air heavy with the realization that the outside world had finally breached the last sanctuary of power. The president's eyes darted between the masked intruders and his loyal protectors, his authority stripped away in an instant. A tense standoff erupted. One bodyguard, desperate and loyal, reached for his weapon, his hand trembling as he weighed the impossible odds. The operator's flashlights cut through the darkness, illuminating faces filled with fear and resolve. The team leader's voice rang out in sharp Spanish. "It's over. Drop the weapon." For a heartbeat, time seemed to freeze. Then, with a heavy sigh, the bodyguard complied, letting his weapon fall to the floor. Maduro, realizing resistance was futile, slumped in defeat, his posture collapsing as the reality of capture set in. Orders were clear: capture, not kill. The operators moved with discipline, showing restraint even as adrenaline surged. Their mission was precise. No unnecessary violence, only swift, controlled action. Maduro and his wife were quickly secured with flex cuffs, their hands bound behind their backs. The once powerful couple now sat powerless, surrounded by the very security meant to protect them, now outmatched and outmaneuvered. Meanwhile, another team swept through the mansion, uncovering a hidden office tucked away behind false walls. Inside, they found servers and laptops, evidence of the planned cyber attack that could have changed the course of history. The technical team moved in, carefully preserving every piece of data. Gloved hands collected hard drives and laptops, ensuring that no evidence would be lost or tampered with. With both high-value targets secured and the evidence in hand, the team leader gave the signal over the radio. "Packages secure, ready for extraction." The message was clear: the mission was a success. The entire operation, from breach to capture, took less than 3 minutes. Every move was rehearsed, every second counted. The team's efficiency left no room for error or hesitation. Maduro, silent and utterly defeated, was led from his home. The weight of his downfall was visible in every step, his legacy reduced to a quiet surrender in the dead of night. His reign ended not with a firefight or dramatic last stand, but with the simple final click of plastic cuffs, a sound that echoed the end of an era. The mission's climax was swift and surgical, a testament to planning, precision, and the quiet power of decisive action. In the darkness, history quietly changed hands. Packages secure, triggered the final phase, extraction. The 10-minute window was closing as police and military began to mobilize. The Blackhawks swooped in, operators and equipment boarded with practiced speed. The helicopters lifted off, Apaches covering their retreat. A Venezuelan truck tried to block the exit. An Apache fired a warning missile, halting it without casualties. The corridor remained clear. The team raced for the coast. F-35s circled above, ensuring air superiority. The flight to the USS Ewima was tense but uneventful. One by one, the helicopters landed on the deck. Maduro stepped onto the U.S. warship, blinking in the floodlights. Operation Absolute Resolve was complete. The sun was rising over a changed Venezuela. The world braced for what would come next. News of Maduro's capture sent shockwaves worldwide, hailed in Washington, condemned in Moscow and Beijing, met with mixed reactions in Latin America. In Caracas, hope flickered amid uncertainty. The regime's power structure was headless, its future unclear. The operation set a new standard: cyber, space, and electronic warfare as the main effort, not just support. The flawless coordination showcased American reach and precision. But removing one man doesn't solve a nation's crisis. Venezuela stands at a crossroads: democracy or deeper chaos. As the world watches, the fate of millions hangs in the balance, waiting for a new dawn.